Hey guys, welcome back to Real Girls Heal Things. I'm Karawaram K and I am your host. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to have you guys here. I know it's been a minute, but I'm back. Welcome to Right Podcast. So in today's topic, I wanted us to talk about something that is quite interesting that someone recently introduced to me, somebody that has now kind of formed a very important part of my current journey. And yeah, it's just been, I guess, reflective. Like, I've had to reflect on quite a few things about myself since knowing the person, because we kind of like he almost challenges my mental capacity quite a lot. And so the other time he asked me if I know anything about the Centipede Dilemma, and I had never heard about it, never knew anything about it. So I went ahead and I looked it up because he said to me, "You remind me of it." Right. And at that point I didn't really know what he was talking about or how that even ties to who I am. But I looked it up and I was mind blown. Like, when I say I was mind blown because I've never read anything that simplified who I was so much, right? And so, right, so I read about it and I kind of sat and thought about how that relates to who I am, to where I am in my life, to my healing, to my personal life, and more importantly, no, not more importantly, but also to my romantic life, right? And I kind of want to make this episode up. I don't know, like you basically can try and see where you want to fit it, whether you want to apply it to your personal life or your romantic life or whatever, or just life in general, like whichever one fits for you. I think you can pretty much put it wherever. But yeah, let's talk more about the Centipede Dilemma. So I'm going to explain first what it is. It is basically a theory, right? And it's almost like a little short story. So I'm gonna tell you guys like the short story first, and then we're gonna jump right into it. So they say that there was a story, right? And it says that there was a centipede that used to walk gracefully and used to walk seamlessly and was very like had no worries, like just walked gracefully and seamlessly with no worry in the world, and with all its legs moving perfectly, everything moving in harmony, just everything working, right? And then one day a toad asked it, "Hey, how do you manage to move all of those legs so beautifully all at once?" Right? So then the centipede pauses to think about it. And suddenly, as it pauses to think about how it's able to move all its feet so perfectly, it suddenly couldn't walk anymore. Because now it started being aware of what it was doing, and that, oh, I can actually do this. And as soon as that clicked for the centipede, it lost its natural rhythm. So I want you to think about this theory or this story and apply it to your own life. Think about the times that you thought you knew what you were doing, or you over intellectualized something so deeply that you convinced yourself that you knew exactly what it was, but in actual fact you didn't. I'll go back to my conversation with this person that told me about this theory, right? He said to me, like, the problem with you is you over intellectualize everything. You over intellectualize your emotions, and sometimes emotions are just that, emotions. They do not have to be anything more than that. And what I do is I question them. I question why I feel how I feel. I question why certain emotions rise and fall in my life. I question why a certain person makes me feel a certain way. But that is also the theory. It's that once you start doing that, you want to control everything and you want to control the outcome of things, because you think if you over intellectualize your way out of something, nobody can fool you again, right? But yeah, let's get back to it. So healing sometimes can look like that. Healing sometimes can look like what the centipede was doing. You find yourself losing something that you thought you were winning, you know. For example, like if you were a person that used to love freely, trust easily, and just move so without care in the world, right? If one day, not one day, but if that's the person that you used to be, and then you experience a heartbreak or a betrayal, and that in turn makes you question things that before you wouldn't normally question. Because that's exactly how I was after my heartbreak. I know you guys know that I did go through a very hectic heartbreak. And I think it goes back again to say that, like, how I became this over intellectualizer of emotions was because of my heartbreak. It taught me that I never want to experience heartbreak like that again. So, what do? I question everything. I question everything because I don't trust myself, and there is a lot of fear in trusting myself and trusting others again. So yeah, again, another like a part of the theory also is the overthinking and over intellectualizing, right? So let's delve a little bit into that. When you go through your healing journey, you become extremely self-aware, which is another thing that like a lot of people tell me I am, and something that I also hold myself like at a high regard of is that I am very self-aware. So I'm very open about my emotions. I'll always like give everyone like a fair chance of who I am. You'll always know exactly who I am and how I'm feeling. But sometimes healing is makes you so self-aware that it turns into anxiety. It turns into anxiety because you replay so much all the things that have happened in your past, all the hurt that somebody did to you. You replay so much, you start thinking like, how can I protect myself from feeling like this again? How can I protect myself from someone else doing this to me again, right? And you overthink it and you think about it, you think about ways to run from it, ways to, avoid it. And sometimes you end up isolating yourself from the experiences that are meant to help you heal. And I've been doing that quite a lot. I've been trying to run away basically from myself because I am so scared of somebody else hurting me or somebody else getting close enough to hurt me. And I mean, I think it's normal for you to just tell yourself that you never want to go through a certain experience. But I think you can't live your life looking for red flags. You know what I mean? Like, you can't live life looking for red flags all the time. You can't overanalyze every word, every silence, everything that someone else is saying or doing, and you're sitting there thinking, oh, is this what the end looks like? Or, oh, okay, I think I know what comes after this, Or you're like, I know if he's doing this, then it means this is coming, right? Again, I'm talking from a relationship standpoint, but you can basically, like, this applies to any part of your life, but I'm just saying the overthinking and overanalyzing of every single situation can also become very daunting. And sometimes sometimes healing will teach us that what went wrong before, we forget how to just be present. And sometimes healing will teach us about what went wrong, that we forget how to just be present when something finally starts to go right. So don't let that happen to you. Don't let your past make you forget how to be present in the moment, how to be present in the experiences that you are currently going through. Healing can sometimes lead to self-sabotage. I remember when I first met this person, and I think that's the first trait he saw. I think that's the first trait he saw. He said to me, like, it's self-sabotage, right? He said, like, you self-sabotage. Or like, I think he just put it out there, like, that's very, like, self-sabotage of you, or like that's a self-sabotaging thing to say. I don't know what we're talking about, but like he kind of was like, you don't think you're self-sabotaging there? And I'm like, I don't know. And he said, yeah, I think you do that a lot. And mind you, man, this is just with like very random conversations, and he'd be like, don't think like that, like that is, a very negative way of thinking. And I would then go and sit and think about it and be like, actually, maybe he's right. And maybe that is like me trying to self-sabotage, when something good happens to you and you want to ask questions, you want to start questioning it, like, why is this happening? Why do I have this job? Why me? Why am I experiencing all this good stuff? Like, is it gonna go away? Why am I happy? Is someone gonna take it all away from me again? You start questioning things that are meant to make you happy, and you just forget to live in the moment. You can't live in the moment because you feel like that moment is going to be taken away. I remember when I got my job, I battled so much with how to feel about it, because I had been wanting that job for such a long time. I had been praying, I had been begging God for an answer, and when I finally found it, I couldn't be happy. I remember telling my best friend, I'm like, friend, I'm actually having nightmares about me not having a job, even though I have one. I used to think, and I remember then when my birthday came, and my birthday came a few months after I got the job, and I was like celebrating my birthday, but man, I felt like I had to celebrate something else in my life, but I couldn't bring myself to celebrate it because it always felt like it wasn't mine. Like, it felt like, yes, this was happening, but it wasn't mine, and I couldn't celebrate it. And I forced myself to actually celebrate the fact that this is something that I wanted, this is something that I prayed for, and I have it. And I need to be grateful for it. I need to thank God for it. And I did that against my own will, like fighting myself, because the self-sabotager in me is saying, once you start to celebrate this, it's gone. Like, once you start accepting that this good thing has happened to you, it's gone. And that's why when I read about this theory, or this centipede dilemma thing, it changed my entire perspective. It changed my perspective on so many things, because now I realize that you don't have to live your life in anxiety. You can let things free flow. You can let life flow through you. Because sometimes you think self-sabotage is protection. Your mind is telling you, like, if I think about this enough, if I overthink about this enough, I'll be able to control the outcome. I'll be able to control what happens afterwards. But always remember that love doesn't reside where there is control and fear. And love flows. It needs you to trust. It needs you to trust yourself. It doesn't have to be blind trust, but you need to trust yourself. You need to trust yourself, and you need to trust that if it doesn't work, if things don't work, it is okay. Like, it is okay. Someone else said to me, I must always remember that nothing bad is happening. And that also kind of changed my life. Not changed my life, but like it's a mantra that I use now, that nothing bad is happening. Nothing bad is happening. Like, every time I feel anxiety over my body, I remind myself that nothing bad is happening. So trust that you can handle disappointment without falling apart, and that you are able to pick yourself up should things fall apart. Yeah, so that is the centipede theory. The last part I wanted us to talk about is how to kind of stop being the centipede. Like, what do we do to switch our brains? I'm still learning as well. I just learned about this like literally a week ago, so I'm also kind of trying to practice it. Listen, it is a lifelong journey. I don't think it's something that I woke up one day, I started practicing, and I got completely. So we're learning this together. But let's see how the healing can start in the shift in healing can begin. I think the first step is to notice when we are overanalyzing a situation. Stop yourself. Stop yourself. It's hard, but stop yourself when your brain starts running stories. When your brain starts running and running, just take a deep breath and ask yourself, like, am I overanalyzing the situation? And the second one is bring your attention back to yourself, back to your body. They say that overthinking lives in your head. Overthinking lives in your head and it lives in your body. And that's so true. I have like really bad anxiety, right? So when I'm anxious, my cheeks start trembling, like shaking. I get like, I don't even know how to explain it. I can't feel it though, but if you're next to me or if you're looking like straight at me, you'll be able to see that my cheeks are like shaking, which is a symptom that I didn't even know I experienced until like somebody else was like, why are your cheeks like that? And I'm like, I don't know, but that's because I knew that I was anxious, but they didn't know. So yeah, I have like very hectic anxiety, so my cheeks will shake and I'll get not, it's like goosebumps. I guess that's what people call them, goosebumps, but like not goosebumps in your like I'm happy type of way. Like my goosebumps are like my entire body will be filled with goosebumps because my body is in an anxious state. So always remember that overthinking lives in your body, and for me what it does, it also manifests like physically, literally. And so when that happens, you need to try to ground yourself, like try breathing, try journaling, try sitting in silence, just reconnect with the moment and always remember that nothing bad is happening. Another thing is to always show ourselves some compassion. Be so graceful to yourself. Give yourself so much grace. Especially if it's maybe after a heartbreak or a disappointment and you feel like you're learning how to walk again. Remember, like, being hurt is an emotional injury, right? So treat it like one. when you start healing, you're not going to just heal altogether and you're able to walk like from the very beginning. You'll trip, you'll wobble a little bit, it won't be a smooth journey, but the goal isn't to walk perfectly. The goal is to walk without fearing, is to just take that first step. And yeah, lastly, let things flow. We need to let it all flow. Let the energies flow. You don't need to control everything. You don't need to control every step of your journey, every outcome in your love life, in your personal life, in your professional life. Let people show up for you. Let experiences unfold the way that they should. And allow yourself to be surprised by life. Allow yourself to let life shock you. Here's my own personal reflection on learning about this theory or little story. After my heartbreak that I went through, I was so cautious of my emotions. Sometimes I was scared of feeling. Like, I literally wanted to shut down my emotions. I wanted somebody to switch them off. I did not want to care about a single person ever again because I felt like I overcare, I overlove, I over everything, I over relationship. And I just never wanted to do that again. But I'm realizing now that when I was going through my healing, and I thought what looked like healing to me was actually just self-sabotage, right? Because I became so guarded, I became so closed off, I blocked off everything and every emotion that brought me anything close to like love, or I was like, no, 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 we're not doing that. We're not. Every time I felt like I got like to a place of like safety with somebody, it would just my body, my anxiety, my brain would just tell me, no, 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 we are not doing that. It is not safe. It's not safe to love. It's not safe to care. It's not safe, and therefore we are not doing it. But I'm starting to almost get my wake up call. Actually, I think again when they told me about this and I started reading up on it, that was a wake up call for me. This Centipede Dilemma changed my perspective completely. It was my wake up call for sure. It reminded me to stop walking with fear, to stop being so afraid, and to start trusting myself and trusting my own rhythm. I'm always reminded, trust yourself, like have more faith in yourself. Like, everyone has so much faith in me, and I just need to practice having that faith in myself. Just to close off the episode, if you've been an overthinker, if you've been an overthinker and overthinking everything lately, this is with your healing, your relationships, or your next step in your life. Know that you don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to analyze every emotion and every feeling that you are going through right now. Healing can just be that. Healing can just be healing. Healing can be being who you are right now, doing what you're doing right now, like just living in your being at this current moment. So yeah, you're not your mistakes, you're not too much, you're just learning to walk again. You're just learning to walk again. Always remember and always remind yourself that this is just an emotional injury and I'm just learning how to walk again. I'm learning how to be me again. And yeah, just always smile, always know that like Rome wasn't built in one day. It really wasn't. So take care of yourself. Smile through everything. Always, like, again, let things just flow through you. Let love flow through you. And next time somebody else asks you, like, hey, how do you do that? How do you manage? How do you manage to just like let all of this go? Remind them of the centipede theory dilemma. Remind them of the centipede story, and tell them, like, I stopped overthinking. I just stopped overthinking and I started moving. That's all you have to do. Stop overthinking. Start moving. Start moving. Yeah, I'm also practicing it, guys. I'm practicing it myself. I think it's going to be a beautiful journey. I think it's going to change my life. I really think so. And I hope it changes yours too. Thank you for listening to Real Girls Heal Things. If you enjoyed this episode, please, if it resonated with you, share it with somebody else that might need to hear it. Until next time, keep healing, keep feeling, and keep flowing. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.